Welcome back, guys. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you are watching our videos and learning a few things here and there. Uh, this is Data Science Discussions, a series which we started to talk about data science, machine learning, data analysis, mathematics, and everything which is related to data science. And given that we come from a petroleum engineering background, every now and then we'll keep bringing in examples from oil and gas to keep you updated and keep you motivated and related. So today's discussion is a carry forward from one of the prior discussions. We talked about linear regression, the implementation using scikit-learn a few sessions back. Today's discussion is more like I promised that we will come up with a session that explains the underlying mathematics. So basically, it will explain you the the concept, the reality that every machine learning algorithm that you see or implement using either scikit-learn or in the future either using Keras or PyTorch or anything like that, there's always some hidden mathematics that you never see. And if you understand the mathematics of linear regression, for example, a lot of things will be common in, let's say, neural networks. So it helps understand mathematics. It helps you design your program in such a way, for example, if in case there's an error, you know where to point out, you know why the error is coming. But if in case you don't understand the math behind an algorithm, all you can think of is a black box, and you just hope that it works. So today's discussion is basically aimed at coding up entire linear regression problem without using any external scikit packages. We will code it all up using just simple Python, and we will see how it goes up, and we will try to implement with the same data like we did in the last lecture about linear regression, a straight line data with some noise. We will implement it not using scikit-learn, but using our concepts of mathematics. So Jayesh is here with me, Jayesh Chahar. He will try to explain everything from scratch because he has a very nice understanding of mathematics part of a machine learning algorithm. So he's come up with the entire
Hello.
program of his own. Yeah, Jayesh, please take it.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hello Digansh. So yeah, one of our previous videos, we see how Diganshu sir coded linear regression model by using scikit-learn. So in this video, we will see that what is going inside that scikit-learn, or what is the mathematics behind the linear regression that is going on. So yeah, we will start our discussion. So yeah, first of all, what is linear regression? Let us recall what is linear regression. Linear regression is a method that is used to find a linear relationship between a dependent variable, or you can say that y, and independent variable. You can say x. If we see in 2D, two-dimensional, here you can see here it is a two-dimensional graph that we are seeing since our high school or since our school times, 8, 9 times. So yeah, so here you can see that various points various points are given whose coordinates are known to us. So we have fitted a line between those points. So basically this fitting a line between these points is known as linear regression. This is an example of two-dimensional. Now if we have a function, we have a dependent variable y that is a function of many independent variables, say x1, x2, x3. Then it will be a multi-dimensional case of scenario. For example, if y is a function of two independent variable, x1 and x2, then you can imagine it will be a 3D type of solution, and the final equation that will be equal to y equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. That will be equation of a plane. So yeah, but in today's session we will talk about this two-dimensional scenario only, because in our last session we coded about y equal to 2x minus 3 of type of a line. So we will limit our limit our discussion to two-dimensional only. So yeah, so for linear regression, the goal is to get the best fitted line between x and y. And how to get this best fitted line? So one way to get this best fitted line is by using mean squared error and gradient descent. Now you will say what are these mean squared error and gradient descent? Let us see what are these things. So yeah, Mean squared error. So what is mean squared error? First of all, imagine we were given just these points. We don't know anything about the best fitted line. We were given these points, and I randomly assigned value of W and B. Let us say I randomly assigned W as 3 and B as 2, and I made a line y equal to 3x plus 2. So what I will do, so from that line, I will calculate the y predicted for each of the x values of these points that were given. And from that y predicted and the y actual values that were given in our data set, we can find the mean squared error. That is nothing but the difference between the y predicted and y actual, its square, and whole divided by n. Now n is the total number of points. N is the total number of points that we are given in our data set. From that, we will get a value of mean squared error for given coefficient, or for the assigned coefficient that we have assigned, like I have assigned W as 3 and B as 2. From that, we can know that how bad our line is fitted, that I have assigned. If I get a mean squared error of say 20, 30, more the value of mean squared error, more is the more bad, or uh, more it is far away from the ideal solution, more it is far away from the real solution. So our aim is to reduce the value of this mean squared error. As you can see, you can thought it, you can try to think about it. Less is the value, less is the distance, less is this distance of line from these points, the best it will be the fitted among the data points. So our main aim is to reduce this value of mean squared error, and we will, here you can see, here it is a beautiful GIF. You can see that initially a line was assigned by assigning the value of W and B, and it is by using the gradient descent, mean square error is decreasing, and at last it will come to the best fitted line. Now we will go on the method that how we should reduce the mean squared error. So mean squared error can be reduced by gradient descent. And another one thing, on not only mean squared error, you can use other loss functions also, like mean absolute error or root mean squared error, for doing the linear regression, for fitting the best fitting line. But in today's discussion, or in today's code, we gonna use mean squared error. That's why we are discussing mean squared error. So yeah. So what is gradient descent? Actually, gradient descent generally is nothing. It is only the if you have studied application of derivatives in your 12th standard, 11th standard, then you will be very familiar with gradient descent. Descent is just a simple optimization technique for finding the minimum of any function. And you remember that how we used to find a minimum. Let us say, let us recall that if we were given a y as a function of x, so what we used to do, we used to find the dy by dx, and at what point the dy by dx is equal to 0, that is going to be either minima or maxima. In same method we are doing right here, but with some different approach. It is obvious that we will use different approach. So this gradient descent will be used for minimizing the mean squared error. Now, let us keep our focus on this graph. Here you can see on the y-axis, let us say y-axis is our cost function or mean squared error. And we have to reduce this function. So imagine that mean squared error is having a curve of a valley shaped. It is in 2D, that's why it is seen as parabola. But imagine W are the coefficients, or in our case, W will be the values of W and B. So it will be a 3D type of structure. So in 3D type of structure, this parabola will be of a valley type structure, and we are present at some random point for initial weights that we have assigned, or initial values of W and B that we are assigned. We are at this random point having a cost function or mean squared error value corresponding to this point. So our aim is to reach the bottommost point of the valley. We have to reach the bottom of the valley, or you can say the global cost minimum. We have to reach the global cost minimum. So how that can be done? That can be done by mathematical formula that we will see later. But just try to imagine how we are going to do this. We are present at this point, and by using the values of slope, by using the value of djw by dw at different points, we are going to reach at the minimum point and reduce our value of mean squared error. At that point, the values of W and B corresponding to that point will be the values of W and B of our best fitted point. So yeah, here you can see that visualize function as valley, and from some random point we need to reach the bottommost point. This random point is the initial point, or you can say that the point at which we have initialized our weights W and B. You will see and make out where the slope of valley is going down. Then you start taking steps towards the downgoing slope. And how you will know that where the slope is going down? By taking the derivative of djw with respect to the coefficients. And at some point when you reach this minimum point, you will see around by using the slope values, and you will see that every point around you is above you. So in that case, you can see that you are at the global minimum point. So
So Jayesh, so yeah, let's explain it this way. Like, suppose, so this example that you see in the picture, it's related to like, let's say y equals to mx kind of like. There is no other parameter, there is no other coefficient like the intercept in this. So if you want to find out just one parameter, so in that case, the only variable is the slope, which we call as weight in this case. So now whatever will be the error of the line, like the mean squared error, will be a function of W, only W, right? So J versus W, J is the symbol for mean squared error. It becomes a 2D plot. But for example, y equals to mx plus c. Now c also comes in. So J is now a function of m and c, which is W and B. So now on the horizontal plane, one axis will be for weight and one axis will be for the intercept. And the valley that Jayesh is talking about is more like a cup, more like a, paraboloid, or open paraboloid or something like that. Like you can imagine. The vertical height of any point in that scenario is the cost. Now you can imagine like a valley that Jayesh just told us. Suppose you are standing at the peak of the mountain and your target is to reach to the bottom, right? Now, how do you take the journey? You look at the place where it is going down, right? So that step is calculating the derivative. So suppose on the left, it's going up, on the right, it's going down. So you make a decision that I have to go to the right, right? Similarly, in this case also, you first calculate the derivative. The derivative tells you which way to go, like which way is downstairs. Then you decide, suppose it's a very steep kind of thing, you take optimum number of small steps. That's called learning process. Like that way you are reaching the minimum, and that in machine learning terms, if you are reaching to the minima of the cost function, you are reaching to the best fitted line in the scenarios. So that's what's happening. So basically, the GIF that Jayesh just showed in the previous slide, what's happening in the background of that GIF, you see the line is going up. It's getting closer to the points. The cost is decreasing. So in correlation in the background of this, you are going downstairs in this. You are going to more and more towards the minimum. Now, how do you update the values of weight and suppose just keep it to weight? If you are to the right, if you calculate the derivative, you can see the derivative is strictly increasing, right? So you must have to subtract it. So the formula is structured in such a way that the weight, the new weight, is equals to the old weight minus some constant times the derivative, right? So if it's to the right, it will take it to the left. The updating will take it to the left. But if you start from some point in the left, like just can you point it like some point in the left?
like
The
here,
initial,
if you
yeah,
start from
like
here.
yeah, right here. Yeah. So here the derivative is negative. So the update rule becomes W equals to W initial minus some constant times of the derivative, where the derivative is now negative. So every update will take the weight more and more towards the right.
And
So
it
that's how
will
it is.
start adding here.
Yeah. Now, one final thing that we might want to tell you is the constant in this update rule. It's very important. Like you cannot take a huge constant or a very. If you take a very small constant, it will take a lot of time to train the model. But if you take a huge constant, it just goes diverges from the it does not do what is required. So yeah, Jesh, please.
Yeah, you can imagine, you can visualize, imagine the constant that Devanshu is talking about by the length of this arrow. If this length of this arrow is very large, let us say it is large like this, so it will go on the different side of our this loss curve. And if it is very small, then it will take infinite time to reach the minimum point. So we need to have an optimum value of this constant learning rate. Learning, it is known as learning rate in the learning language. And one more thing, as Devanshu sir said, that a negative sign of slope is taken, or you can say that our global cost minimum point is in the direction of the reducing slope. If you can visualize from this curve, as in starting we are present here, this slope was like this, close to 90 degree, or you can see 85 degree, let us say 85 degree. When the point has reached at this point, if you draw a slope here, you can see that its value, or its angle with the x-axis will be less than 85 degree. It is about 65 degree. And as you go down, the slope again will decrease. In a similar way, when you take in on the opposite side, as it angle will be greater than 90 degree, so it will be of negative values. More it become horizontal, the slope value has been reducing, or the negative value has been increasing. So in that way you can also see that global cost minimum point will be in direction of decreasing slope. Just remember this thing, guys. That's why the negative sign is appearing in our equation, or we will see which equation we are talking about of updating the variables. Yeah. So yeah, here you can visualize in the 3D the gradient descent thing. The minimum point is somewhere present here, and initial point was present here, and we are by updating the values of W and B, we are trying to reach the minimum value. So yeah, to know the slope of function at any point, you need to differentiate that point with respect to the parameters. Thus, gradient descent uses differentiation power, and it differentiates the MSE, the mean squared error that we have seen with respect to the parameters of W and B with respect to constant. We will see the equations in our coding part right after this. So no worry about that. And to go to the bottommost point, it has to go in opposite direction of slope, that I already discussed and told you. And so the constant term will change at each point using slope. So how that constant term will change, we will see in our code part. So yeah, let's move on to our code.
Jesh, a few more things like we should
Yeah.
discuss since we have touched the topic. Let's talk about, like, let's go to the initial part. Yeah. So let's talk about what R square is basically, like, because it's very important, because a lot of people confuse it between correlation magnitude and, R
Yeah.
square is coefficient of determination, right, Jesh? It's a comparison of how good a model is compared to the mean, right? If you were a very dumb mathematician, or you had no idea of mathematics, and you were asked, like, you have a trendy line or something, some data is given, and you were asked to create a model out of it, the dumbest person would just say that, okay, I think the mean is the best approximate. Like, you would draw a line somewhere in the middle and you say that that is my best model. But with a decent knowledge of mathematics, even the high school mathematics, you get to know that that's not the best model. So what you try to do is you try to look at the trend and the slope and stuff. So, it tries to shift up and get more and more better than the mean model, right? So mean as a model is a bad model in some cases, most of the cases. But when you reach to a different, which is more accurate model, the performance accuracy between the goodness of fit between this model and the mean as a model is what we quantify as R square. If you look at the formula, I'm not talking about the formula right now, but if you look at the formula, the comparison or the subtraction is between the model's performance and the mean performance, right? If mean was a model, let's call it YM. Any prediction made by the mean, let's call it YM, and any prediction made by the line, let's call it YP. Then the difference between the both of these things, the average difference of performances between both of these things, that would give you R square. So it's very important to understand R square, because R square tells you how well you have done the training, right? But if you have, you can also use it on testing. But R square is a good measure to calculate. There are a lot of measures basically. Uh, can you recall any other measures like Jayesh? Mean square error is something similar.
Means whatever, yeah.
There are
And
other things
many
like,
guys confuses R square with accuracy in
yeah.
regression, but it is not true. R square is just a value that is showing how good fitted your model is.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I
So
right?
I think Jesh, yeah, you're perfectly right. So I think we had a very nice conceptual discussion of regression in this session. I think we will keep the coding section in as a next part of this video series, so that people who just want to listen to the concept
Yeah,
part, they
yeah.
have separate video. So let's see you guys in the
And then
just the next section of this, where we will discuss about the code which explains these concepts in
yeah,
practicality. Great explanation, Rajesh. Thanks a lot. See you again.
thank you. Thank you.